Seeing as the fullback position is not as used in today's NFL, can you talk about the significance of the fullback and how Kreider has assisted you in your career?
Well, it means for me, the significance of the fullback position was huge, being that the offense that I was playing was primarily a two-back offense that was a downhill type offense that the fullback was the lead blocker. So all the runs pretty much that I was involved in had a lead blocker, which was the fullback. So that had to account for probably at least 75 to 80% of my running play. So it was a huge part of my success. Danny was a huge part of my success, as well as a couple other guys that were fullbacks during my time with Pittsburgh. But the fullback position, I think, is really undervalued in a big way. Now that teams are not using the fullback, the running games have started to really fall apart. So I think when the teams that understand how to win, they have a fullback involved. And so when you look at the Seattles of the world, and you look at teams like New England, they use a fullback when they run the football. So it's a position that's undervalued, but when you need them, when you need to win, you'll have a fullback.
The reason that you're here today is to present an award to a student of ours, Zach Ward, who's receiving this for his excellence in the classroom, on the playing field, and also in the community. So that's the three areas I really want to try to hit with this. So I'm going to first start out with academics. So what is the importance of education to you? And now that you are a father, can you explain the importance of education in your family?
Education is critically important because what you have to understand, education is the pathway to success. You can do a lot of different things in your life, but everything comes back to education and your educational background. So I think that is always the building blocks to success, the educational part. So I don't think you can ever get away from that aspect. And as a father, I understand that. And so I think it's so important for me as a father, my number one priority is to give my children the best possible education that I can give them. And that's, if that's a private school, that's a private school. If that's the best public school, I want to do whatever it is I can do to give them the best education I can. I think that's my number one job as a parent.
And then service, you obviously have a great charity, the bus stops here. Can you describe that and some of the things you've been able to accomplish and some of the experiences you've been able to have because of the charity?
Well, I think the charity aspect is important because you understand that everything doesn't revolve around you. I was fortunate enough when I was young to receive help from a foundation, and it was a gentleman who wanted to impact change in his community, and he started a football camp, and I went to this camp and learned so many valuable lessons there at that camp, to the point where I wanted to model my foundation after his foundation because I received so much help. And the idea was to not give someone a handout, but give them a hand up, give them a chance to receive that success. And it was just an opportunity. And that's what I found, that most young people just need an opportunity. And if we can give them that opportunity, I think then we unleash and unlock that potential in every child. So I've seen a lot of success through my foundation. One of our biggest programs is the Cyber Bus program, where we teach kids computer literacy. And I think that's so enlightening, and it gives those kids that go through the program an opportunity not only to learn more about it and understand it fully, but we also give them that computer to integrate it into their home. So I've seen a lot of success come out of it.
And growing up in Michigan, you didn't really get started with football until about high school, right? So can you talk about how you got involved in football and how it's changed your life?
Well, football really came into play from a necessity standpoint. The only reason I played football was to try to get a college scholarship. I wanted to give myself the best chance to have a college scholarship. Academically, I was pretty strong. I was in the top 10% of my class, National Honor Society, all those things. But I didn't want to only have an academic pathway. I wanted to have an academic pathway, but also an athletic pathway. And so I started playing football. I thought that was the best way. I was a big guy, big kid. And I thought I had some skills, having played football in the neighborhood. So I went out for football, and as it turns out, I was pretty good, and I was able to get a scholarship to University of Notre Dame, and that was available because the educational side was strong. Because when Notre Dame came in and looked at me as a student athlete, the first thing they wanted to see was my grades. They wanted to know where I was educationally, and I was near the top of my class, and so that gave me the ability to now go to a very prestigious college.
Can you talk about then, you had obviously a very tough choice. When you were a junior in college, you decided to declare for the NFL draft. Can you talk about the decision and how it's very different for different players, especially today?
It's different, and people, leave school for different reasons. For me, it was an opportunity to help, my family. My mother had just lost her job, and my father was working two jobs, and he was supporting the family. And so this was an opportunity that I had to now help my family. But it wasn't solely a financial responsibility in terms of leaving school. I also consulted with Coach Holtz, who was my head coach, and he felt that it was in my best interest to go because I had proven everything there was to prove on the college level, and that I was physically and mentally ready to go to the next level. So I wanted to make sure I was prepared, not only making that decision financially, but also making that decision from a social standpoint, but also from a skill level as well. And it all led up to me being ready to leave.
And then you were drafted by the St. Louis Rams, but you are most known for playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are known as an organization with an incredible amount of class and the Rooney family. Can you describe what being a Steeler means to the people who have been members of that team?
It's a family atmosphere. The Rooney family, they really understand, respect, and appreciate the players that have played for them in the organization. And as a result, the players feel that sense of loyalty from the ownership in the things that they do and how they treat the players, not only when they play, but also as former players and retired players. They create the opportunity that's an open door policy that if you played there, you can always come back there. There's always a home. And that's an incredible feeling. I haven't played with another organization. I know every organization doesn't do that. And the Rooney family, they make sure that they make you feel that you are part of the family, not just when you're playing, but when your playing days are over as well.
And then, so later into your career, you had a lot of tough decisions about retirement. And there's a story that Ben Roethlisberger said, stay one more year, we're going to get you a Super Bowl championship. Can you talk about the leadership of Ben Roethlisberger at such a young age?
Yeah, this was after we had losing the game. We had lost the AFC Championship game, and we were both on the sideline, and I thought that was my last game. And I was, teary-eyed, and Ben came to me and told me that, give me one more year, give me one more chance to, get you to the Super Bowl. And it seemed far-fetched at the time because he was only, finishing his first full season in the NFL. So to take his word for it was a little bit of a leap of faith, if you will. But I decided to come back, and Ben was a man of his word. And after every playoff game, he gave me the football. And then after we won the Super Bowl, he gave me the winning ball of the Super Bowl. So he held up his end of the bargain, and it was pretty special.
So then during that playoff run, there's the famous fumble, if you will. I'm sorry to bring it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So you have the ball on the 2-yard line, first and goal. You're running up the middle. Gary Brackett pops the ball out. You see a Colts defensive back running the opposite way, and Ben Roethlisberger chasing him. What was going through your mind at that time?
You seem to remember more about this than I do. It's been so long ago. No, I'm just joking. That was one of those moments that your whole body tenses up because you see the football in the air, and I was going back and I knew I couldn't get it, and I saw the Colts player with the ball, but I was falling back, and then I started to get up, and there was guys running, so I couldn't see how the play had finished up. But I knew that, they had stopped him. The guy was on the ground, and the play was over. I later found out what Ben had done in order to stop the defender from scoring a touchdown, and it was a heroic play. It was an incredible play, and I'm forever indebted to Ben for that play.
So you can talk about, after a long career, getting to finish out on top with such a great group of guys. Can you talk about the feeling of finally being on the top with your teammates?
It was. You played a game of football to win a championship, and that's the only reason you play. And to have that ability to win a championship in my 13th year, it was priceless because, each and every guy on that football team has sacrificed so much to try to win that championship, and to finally do it, and then for me to do it in my hometown, it was pretty amazing.
All right, so final question. When you came into this league as a member of the Rams, did you ever see yourself being in the position you are in today? And what does it mean to you to be a soon-be inductee and member of the Professional Football Hall of Fame?
When I started playing the game of football, there was no intentions, no thoughts that my career would lead me to the Hall of Fame. It was really, my career started to get a scholarship to go to college. And once I got to college, I realized that there was potential for me to go to the next level. So then it switched from getting a college scholarship and a college education to now being able to make this a career. And so that was the mindset, make a career of it. Then once I got in, I understood that it was about winning the championships, and the goal was to win a championship. And that was all it was ever about. And so the journey was never to be in the Hall of Fame. I think that was a byproduct of the success that I was able to attain with my teammates. And so to sit here and think, that I'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame, it's an incredible thought. One that you never really dream of because you don't think that's a possibility. So it's an incredible honor. I'm so humbled by this and so thankful that my teammates busted their butts and did everything they could for me to have the success that I have. So this is not just me going to the Hall of Fame. This is those hundreds and hundreds of players that I played with that have helped me reach the level that I've reached, and I'm so thankful.
Something we were wondering is, as students now dreaming big, us three specifically dreaming of one day being on SportsCenter or Fox SportsCenter, broadcasting football games.
Yeah.
What's some advice that you have to kids like us looking to accomplish those goals in media?
When you look at media and you think about what you want to do in the world of media, I think it's important to understand who you are. So many times in media, you want to be somebody different, or you want to talk like this or do this. The best thing for you is to be yourself, be genuine, because what happens is when you're genuine and you're energetic, the camera picks that up, and the viewer on the other side sees that, this guy is genuine, he's believable, and I can trust what he says is being truthful. And I think that needs to come out more than anything. When you go forward, and whether it's in the print media, in terms of interviewing people, as long as people, the person sitting in that chair thinks that it's an honest interview and they can trust the questions that you're asking are of a genuine nature and of substance, then everything is going to be fine. If you're in front of a camera, as long as the people that are watching and see you can believe that what you're saying is genuine and it's what your belief is, then you'll be 100%, you'll be fine, and your career will blossom. So that would be what I would tell you as something in terms of the media.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Bettis. It's been great.